Good morning, afternoon, or evening, Aquarius, Sun, Moon, and Rising. Welcome to your tarot reading, tarot/astrology reading for summer 2021. So this reading will cover the period from now until September 6th when we have the new moon occurring in the sign of Virgo. So for summer 2021, Aquarius, what has been an obstacle for you recently in the last several months? What has been an impediment that you're feeling in your way that has been a very frustrating experience? What are you feeling limited by, Aquarius? Saturn is an Aquarius too. So if you don't find yourself feeling free, then you probably actually need, paradoxically, a little bit more discipline as to how you live your life. Sometimes, Aquarius, you might have a little bit of a habit of always living life unpredictably, and that's not always the right recourse as to living a life that's exhilarating. Sometimes, Aquarius, you do need some form of wisdom or structure, because with the Sun card reversed, the obstacle is also your pessimism and your cynicism. Saturn in Aquarius brings that. So if you're heavily focused on the negatives in your life, and I would even go to say that you're focused heavily on a frustrating past. So Saturn has to do with the past as well. And you're still, your mood, your way of life, and how your mood reflects on your life is your impediment. With the Sun card reversed, you're not really making an effort to finding moments of joy. You need to include that within your own life and in relationships, especially when Venus and Mars are going to be conjuncting later in July in Leo, your opposite sign of relationships. So if you find yourself to be interacting or keeping up relationships that make you feel limited on an individual level, maybe it's time to be a little bit more reserved, to pull back, to not be so social. Okay? Uranus is also in the 4th house. So for you, Aquarius, Sun, Moon, Rising, I think that you might very much benefit from your living space. Wherever you live right now, I think there's a need to redefine so I want you to replace the past with your new home life, or whatever chapter your family life is at right now. Wherever you live, Aquarius, Sun, Moon, Rising, I want you to really be focused on your life and how you're living your life and your living space. Reinvent yourself through that environment, from your home space, from your private life. I want you to find that sense of liberation and to really allow for that to be your new story that you're going to be improving your well-being with, instead of reflecting always on what hasn't worked out, past disappointments that have to do with family karma. Allow for that to dissipate. Yeah. And if you get really focused on how you're living your life and your current home space, maybe change the furniture a little bit, place it differently, redecorate. you don't have to do the same things at home anymore. But it seems like you are, because you're so focused on disappointment that you're forgetting about your daily life. So find a little bit of innocence. A sense of innocence is needed. A need for freshness, you know? Get yourself out of your own rut, out of your negativity. Force yourself out of it. So what has been an effort that you've been making? What is something that you're working on? That you're still working on and have been? Knight of Wands. You've been working on getting yourself moving forward. You've been wanting to confidently move forward. But it seems like the negativity is very much in the way. With the Knight of Wands facing the Sun reversed, again, your biggest impediment is your own mood. You're not in a good mood. You're just finding yourself miserable these days. And it's really a big distraction in this case. And it's permeating throughout your daily life. So Aquarius, Sun, Moon, Rising. Find some hobbies. Think of what makes you, what entertains you. What are some hobbies and activities that you find remind you of what is fun in life? Okay, Mercury is in the 5th house for you. So, and it's in an air sign. So there's a really strong room for opportunity for finding the right direction in your life through that which brings positivity and excitement and a sense of child play. But you're too focused on what's going on in the world, adult life. You know, Aquarius has that tendency to read the global news and to keep up with what the adults are talking about and researching and all that. You need to find the fun in your life right now so that you can direct yourself into a more confident buildup in your life where you find yourself empowered by knowing where is it you want to go next. And the Emperor wants to come out with the Knight of Wands. The Emperor reversed. You're feeling insecure. And again, there's like a sense of rage that's very deep-seated. There's this rage that you're feeling, and it's very much repressed. You need to bring that rage out into some form of activity, either physical or creative. So what is our focus? What do we ultimately want to work on? What is our goal for August and July and first week of September? What are we aiming for? What do we want for you? Aquarius. Aquarius, Sun, Moon, Rising. What do you need? Nine of Pentacles reversed. So Knight of Wands upright, Nine of Pentacles reversed. Nine of Pentacles is our focus card. So there's a need to review your life. There's a need to go back to the past. Even though we just mentioned that your past brings a lot of cynicism and pessimism. There's also a need to go back and find the that which makes you feel creative and valuable. Before you go forward, there's a need to actually, you need to take a break physically, and in terms of work, you need to take a break. So if you have the opportunity this summer to take a week-long vacation or a month-long, or if you want to take a risk and quit, then do it. I want you to use summertime as a time to lay off work and to take rest and to reevaluate what is it that you want to be building in your life. Rather than starting it, I want you to reflect on where you want to go next with your finances or your living situation. Maybe there's a need to start outgrowing an old living space, or maybe a lifestyle. You're physically maybe not fit and you want to be active. And when we're, lacking confidence and focused heavily on what doesn't make us happy, then we're not really focused on the immediate reality, and we're not really active physically in the world too. A lot of the times I find that people who have a period of mental rut, or they're finding themselves cynical, they're, because you're irritated, you're not able to relax, and you're not able to confidently go and get yourself moving physically and to be active in that way, or to find some activities that force you out of your house perhaps. But I think that also you're going to get connected with your personal passions from the home space. But there's nights here in this reading, and they're both pointing towards the sun again. So with the Knight of Pentacles reversed, because it's pointing backwards with the Knight of Wands, you're too focused on disappointments and the adult life, and you need to enjoy summertime right now. Especially with the sun being backwards like that, or reversed, you need to make sure that the next 2 months are going to be enlightening in a way that brings back a sense of fun and joy that you haven't felt in a long time. And so perhaps you need to put effort into that, and to maybe not worry so much about your money or your financial situation or work. Allow for that to be paused. I would say, especially for July, as we have a Mars-Venus conjunction in the 7th house for you, where you're finally going to be able to come out of your own rut and to be more balanced amongst relationships. And it's raining again. We do have 2 full moons in your sign. I do want to mention that. So in July and August, we have 2 full moons in Aquarius. So this summer, you're going to have a lot of emotional growth. And there's also going to be letting go of certain feelings of resentment. And a lot of people, claim that, myself included, we do say that Aquarius is very detached by nature, but what people don't know is that Aquarius also remembers the past very well. And especially if it's a past that's personally connected to them in a very private way. They don't forget that. They just don't really talk about that very often. Very rarely. They keep that information private. But Aquarius, because it's also a fixed sign, it doesn't necessarily forget about highly frustrating experiences and trauma. It just knows how to hide its feelings about that very well, and to make it seem like, oh, they're unbothered by everything, when that's not, that's not the case at all. But there is a need to decide now how you want to feel and what you're going to prioritize during the next 2 months. And Saturn in Aquarius, it's not easy. So let's not make things harder than they are, with limitations in your personal life. Let's not constrict and suffocate and asphyxiate your spirit to the very core. Let's not do that. I mean, Pluto is in your 12th house. So you're really going to need to evolve from old karma. You're going to have to decide if you're going to let the past eat you away, or if you're going to conquer it by getting connected with contentment and fulfillment on a daily basis. Come on, Aquarius, I know you can do it. So if you don't do any of that, if you decide, Aquarius, that you don't want to listen to me and you just want to go, I'm going to click off the video, fuck this YouTuber, I don't believe him, or you're going to say, I didn't get what I wanted to hear out of this tarot reader. If you decide to do that, you run into the danger of, with the Page of Swords upright, you're going to be distracted. You're going to find yourself looking at other people and looking at them with a little bit of envy, I think. And then that envy is going to build up. And with the page, being that it's the lowest court card, there's a level of insecurity that's going to be prevalent, I think. And the page is also looking backwards all the way to the sun, again. So, it's not going to be the end of the world, with the Page of Swords upright, because it's not reversed. It's not that bad. It's almost like you can manage it. You can manage that. You can continue living your life in a dissatisfying way that makes you feel this, where you're frustrated by your own situation and you're constantly, I think the danger you run into is continuing the same cycle. Honestly, I don't think you're going to run into worse situations or build-ups or events, but you're just going to end up feeling a little bit smaller than you were yesterday, let's say. However, if you do take notice of what you felt and how you don't want to feel anymore, and do you want to laugh? Do you want to enjoy life? Six of Swords comes out reversed. Card of Aquarius. So you're very, very, very stuck. Very stuck in your dissatisfaction and blaming it on the past. Get out of there. Get out of that space. Let's focus on something else. If you do decide that you want to feel better that you want to feel happier, that you want to make efforts in feeling better and happier. If you understand what it takes to get there, sometimes we have to sacrifice certain things to improve our well-being and our situation, but we have to take that risk. Otherwise, we'll just sit on the sidelines and observe others and never set sail to new land, and we're going to keep looking at, what doesn't make us happy because we're so used to it in a compulsive, unconscious way. Pluto in your 12th house, it's like you're doing it over and over and over, and you're not even realizing that you're doing it in an automatic way anymore. So if you do consciously work on improving this, fixing that, so that you can feel confident and empowered, if you do decide that you want to get there. The Hanged Man is reversed. I almost said upright because it's the only card out of the major arcana that tricks me, right? Because it looks like it could be upright based on the fact that the figure is upright instead of upside down, but it's such an elusive card like that, right? And so the Hanged Man reversed, not upright. In this case, I think that the blessing by the time we get to when we get to September, with the Hanged Man reversed, you're going to understand that you have been playing the victim. And you're also going to get out of your own bubble. And I think you're going to make an effort to communicate with people. It might even be telepathic, where you're getting drawn to new. You're starting to want to commute. You'll be able to communicate with people that make you feel like you're understood, and you don't even have to talk to them to feel that way, if that makes sense. But and I think that during this time as well, you'll finally get connected to what really interests you. What is it that brings you a lot of curiosity? So once we get to September with the Hanged Man reversed, you'll finally be able to put in the work instead of dreaming about those interests. You'll get out of your place of daydreaming. And with the Hanged Man reversed, I think that you're finally going to be ready to participate in the real world. But I think summer 2021 is for you to observe and to understand your mood a little bit better and where it's coming from, and to not feel like a victim anymore. And you'll be able to finally get out of your own way, I think, as well, because you've been very frustrated with certain relationships, and I'd say, summer is, if you want to be alone for a while, that's fine. I would actually recommend that you be solitary, since you're not in a very good mood anyway. It's probably best for you, but by the end of this transit, around Labor Day, you'll finally be able to get out of your own oasis, I guess. that's a little bit dry, that could use a little bit of water, that you can ask from other people in a gentle way. I don't know if that makes sense. But Neptune is in the 3rd house for you, or 2nd house. So I think you're definitely going to be more creative around fall season. You're finally going to... You might have a new job that makes you feel like you know your place in the world. You'll be able to make new income, I think, that you haven't imagined before, that you never thought you could make from doing that which makes you feel creative. So 1 insight card for Aquarius, please. Angel of Vengeance. Interesting. Okay. So the insight is to not make things worse by doing what you would regret later on. What do I mean? I don't want you to be getting yourself in a situation where you're going to do things out of malice, out of jealousy, or being unhappy with yourself and then hurting someone else. The best vengeance, and if it has to do with people that have wronged you, the best revenge is to walk away, is to quietly focus on your own life and to pay no mind to those people that are pushing your buttons. That would be the ultimate vengeance. But if you do try to, get triggered and say words and get on your nerves and say what you don't want to say accidentally, then you're going to end up losing your way. So be very careful. Don't let your well-being affect the party that you can throw for yourself in your own house, in your own little nest. Take care, Aquarius. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time. Goodbye.